in Hollywood you never expected. They be having these big ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited in a at the mansion party.
And if nobody shot Tupac, it's the same nobody that shot MLK.
The industry is full of homo hating ass. It's like they got this new breed of rapper that's paying DJs to play this shit.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executive dicks, and it's like there's too much of that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am and just play my mother. You get me?
In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts.
Katt Williams has never been the type to whisper what he thinks. For decades, he stood in front of microphones and cameras and said things that made people uncomfortable, things that sounded crazy at the time, things that people laughed off because they didn't want to believe them. But now in 2025, with Sean Diddy Combs sitting in prison and his image collapsing in real time, people are replaying Katt's old interviews and asking a chilling question. What if those weren't jokes? What if those weren't rants? What if they were warnings? Long before the arrests, before the freak-off allegations, before documentaries and court filings flooded the internet, Katt Williams was already telling people that something dark was hiding behind the shiny surface of the entertainment industry. He talked about powerful men who moved differently, who believed rules didn't apply to them, who treated people like chess pieces. And when he mentioned Diddy by name, it always landed heavier than the rest. At the time, people brushed it off as comedy beef or attention-seeking. Now, those clips don't feel funny anymore.
I ain't gonna say because Hollywood too strong. If they want you to be famous, you finna be famous. They don't give a fuck what's wrong with you. Even if you was allegedly riddled with herpes, they'll still have you in Vegas dancing for
Throughout the previous year, a viral joke surged across the internet suggesting that Katt Williams unlocked a gateway of retribution when he declared that 2024 would be the period where all these predators face their downfall. The joke gained traction because, sequentially, influential icons started to tumble. Legal actions, incarcerations, police searches, and professions dissolving in an instant. Whenever a fresh news story broke, followers returned to that specific discussion, reviewed that segment, and observed the sheer composure he maintained while speaking. Not energized, not furious, but nearly positive. When Katt discussed Diddy regarding the Tupac Shakur incident following that initial gunfire event, the atmosphere changed entirely. He was not kidding. He was not putting on an act. He stated directly that he possessed the evidence. That was not a comedic setup. That was an individual establishing a boundary and informing the spectators that overstepping it carried heavy repercussions.
So when he comes out of sedation, I'm sure anybody who gets shot will tell you who shot them, right?
Yeah.
But if
You're predicting this is going to be a nobody situation.
I'm making no predictions whatsoever. I'm saying the police said they arrested the shooters, then said they didn't arrest the shooters. But I was there, so I know that 20 minutes after people were laying down on the ground shot, no police had entered the club yet.
Furthermore, subsequently, once Tupac actually regained awareness, this represents exactly what he declared that finalized the conclusion regarding Puffy being responsible the entire time.
If you feel like that, that's all I ask for. That's all I ask for. If you're gonna act like you a gangster or a G or the king of New York, I'm expect that. And when you don't come through, then I'm gonna crush your empire. And that's what it's time for.
Discussion. Katt clarified the reason he addressed Diddy with such ferocity whenever Tupac's identity became part of the dialogue. Katt remarked that Tupac was not merely his preferred musician. He was an individual he felt internally linked to, a person he recognized within himself. Then he delivered a phrase that continues to resonate today. He declared that if he discovers you are accountable for taking his friend out, that is not a matter he can ever overlook. Not stardom, not wealth, not security. Nothing deletes that. He proceeded even further, asserting he did not mind what profession he concluded with or how his existence resulted. If there existed a path to reach you, he would seize it because he could not tolerate the concept of someone strolling around unpunished after an event like that. Whether you concur with him or otherwise, the sentiment was unfiltered, and it disclosed how profoundly he trusted there was more regarding Tupac's passing than the formal account ever conceded. And here is the reality. If you matured on Bad Boy, on Death Row, on Tupac, Biggie, G-Unit, Empire, none of this seems like it appeared from nowhere. You have perceived the rumors your whole life. You have viewed the odd celebration videos with Biggie suggesting he was not ready for the awkward conversations, the performers who peaked instantly and then disappeared exactly as they desired to be self-reliant. It is concerning aligning fragments that have been resting before us for almost 30 seasons and questioning why nobody desired to join them.
He killed Biggie and he killed Tupac. I genuinely believe that. It's my personal opinion. He killed them both. Set it up, orchestrated it, knew what was going to happen, and then off the top of that, propelled off their deaths to make money from them, creating a career, took Biggie off the Rolling Stone cover so that he could have that Rolling Stone cover, wanted to set up this huge funeral running through Brooklyn, only to then bill Biggie's estate the funeral bill because he wasn't paying anything for it. Suddenly naming the album Life After Death. But what was so manipulative to me is that this man in every publication was stating that I am Diddy's best friend, I'm Diddy's close friend. They weren't that close. The way he lied, no intro, we're gonna get into this. The way he lied to act like he was Diddy's best friend when that wasn't even the case.
Even Gene Deal, who was present at that moment, disclosed how Diddy purportedly orchestrated Biggie's death on that tragic evening.
Up until the night Big died, got murdered.
What did you see that day?
When me and Puff touched down in California, we were going everywhere. You understand? He got connected with Sally Richardson, and we were going to the movies. We were going to the House of Blues, everywhere. So I called Kirk Burroughs, oh, your brains, I thought you said we wasn't going nowhere. Puff is going everywhere, and it's just me and him. So I said, yo, wow, they're coming to get us. So I called Kirk Burroughs. I told Kirk Burroughs we need more security. Because at the time, we only had myself, Kenny Story, and Paul. And Paul had hired a cop from Inglewood. We only got 4 security out there. You know what I'm saying? And here we got Puff, Big, and they entourage, the whole 9 yards. So, he tells me that Puff is not getting any more security.
For numerous years, individuals assumed 50 Cent was merely mocking when he quipped about Diddy's celebrations, retail outings, summons, come socialize. However, listening to those accounts currently, particularly after viewing clips from films depicting Diddy fixating on reputation management and judicial stories, those jests do not resonate the same. This does not seem like an individual who neglected professional connecting. It seems like an individual whose urban intuitions were shouting so intensely that he retreated entirely away.
Listen to me. I'm going to get off the phone right now, and I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what nobody said. Let's just, here and there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing.
Is there anything that surprised you when you were watching?
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed.
Whenever 50 discusses Diddy possessing a communal disguise and an internal deity obsession, it abruptly clarifies much. Upon digital platforms, he is sibling love, the grinning multibillionaire, the motivating tycoon behind the curtains. Following individuals who existed near him, he represented a person who trusted he remained unreachable. Somebody who imagined he could command results, command humans, and command history itself. Anything that startled you whilst you were observing? I believe it appeared startling that he genuinely recorded it. That framework makes the Netflix motion picture strike more intensely. The recordings of Diddy capturing his personal judicial conversations, insisting on press distortion, discussing jurors as barriers rather than mortal individuals. That is not suspicion. That is privilege. That is somebody who sincerely trusts the structure curves surrounding him. And once you perceive that, it is simpler to comprehend why individuals are reconsidering the fatalities that trailed him everywhere he traveled. For decades, the formal justification appeared basic. Hip-hop turned aggressive. Conflict traveled too distant. Icons perished. Everyone grieved and transitioned forward. But currently, individuals are posing a distinct inquiry. Every occasion the vapor evaporated, who gained? After Tupac perished, who occupied the emptiness after Biggie perished? Whose reputation increased further? Whose payments became greater? Whose authority broadened while everyone else entombed their companions? That is where the term individuals are terrified to utter commences sliding in. Offering. Not in a mystical definition, but in a chilly, deliberate corporate definition. Whenever somebody becomes troublesome, too massive, too autonomous, too unmanageable, they vanish and the mechanism continues progressing.
Make the moves that break the rules. A fool and his money are soon parted, so we take from fools. If and when you ever fall down, get back up. Drop some, stop fronting, pick that shit back up. Stand for something or fall for everything. Wait for the right pitch or miss with every swing. In the absence of the truth, bullshit prevails. That's what they did through truth in jail. The objective is to keep you blind. So along with the handcuffs on your arms, they got shackles on your mind. Seek and you shall find, accepting failure is the only crime. Fall down 8 times, get up 9.
The difficulty represents courageous performers who were entombed within the rap cemetery, appearing as the gifted musicians such as DMX who challenged Diddy and the business directly while revealing and alerting individuals in actual time.
Well, you know, Locks got signed before I did. Even though I bought the Locks Riders, you know, they got signed. They were a safer group. You know, Pop signed them. And it was a blessing and a curse because they were sure they were happy about getting signed first, and they were on the Benjamins and shit was going. But they made them jiggy and put them in suits and made them write lyrics for them and took all that publishing and like, damn.
Was out here. They was here yesterday and they said they didn't get no money.
They didn't say they didn't get no money.
The Locks.
They said they felt that at this point in their career that it doesn't make sense. They feel like you get more money than them.
So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna tell you what I got. I'm gonna tell you what I got. Let's ask you. Let's remove me and the Locks. Me and you in a business deal. I meet you when you coming up. You want me to invest in you. You know what I'm saying? You a new company. I invested in D Block. You know what I'm saying? I'm investing in you. You a new company. At the end of the day, here come the splits. Out of the money, you get over $1.5 million. And I get 400 or under $400,000. That's it, New York. They got over $1.5 million. And I got
this was back then?
No, this is everything to date. They got 1.5 million.
Their whole career?
They got for the albums they put out. These remember, they the streets. They not making no #1 top 10 pop records. They the streets. So they sitting here crying like I got more money. That's the money that I got. I'm divulging. I don't even speak my information on the street. I will never, ever do this again.
Honestly, just because I let you get some of that specifics in. We didn't really get into too much of the specifics yesterday. I guess just the point that they came up here was, you know, they might be misinformed. I don't know, yes or no, about how much exactly it is. But either way, they have been, they say, trying to get out of this publishing deal for 10 years.
Check this. Okay. If you check this out, if you yourself, you invest in AT&T,
right?
Okay.
No, I get it. I get it.
No. You invest in AT&T. AT&T, they didn't even start making phones. Then AT&T, whatever years later, say that they want your shares back. But there's no reason. They just say that they just want their shares back. Or even better, you buy a house. You go and you buy a house on set in Harlem. You go buy the house. And
I mean, I get it. You're investing. You want to
Yeah, but I'm saying it doesn't. So they've been calling, knock on the door, saying they want their house back. They had sold their house. They didn't even sell a house. To be honest, they came up here and they're portraying in New York that they sold a house. I don't own their house. Puff does not own 50%. Puff owns 20%. I don't never divulge my information or my business, but it's just the fact that this is just so crazy. And I'm just, it's not even worth it. This is not even worth it to me.
Right.
So out of the house that I bought, I don't even own the house. I just invested in the ground floor. So now you say, just give me the ground floor back just because. I could see if it was what they were saying. They came up here and cried to New York. They cried broke. They used the word slavery. Over $1.5 million in slavery, and I get 400. That's slavery. There's people that are really feeling like they working in the streets. Streets keep it real. There's people that are struggling, and they up here crying. Stop whining, man.
Diddy represented not merely a clever administrator. He is the designer of a devotional apparatus that remains smoothly running by removing rivalry the instant it grows too influential, too self-governing, or too difficult to regulate. Exactly as numerous trusts occurred regarding Tupac and Biggie. If you observe closely, the sequence is frighteningly basic. Any musician whose triumph menaced to displace the equilibrium of authority distant from Diddy somehow resulted extracted from the surface, whether via fatality, judicial collapse, or complete professional annihilation. While Diddy departs with more influence, tidier agreements, and fewer competitors at the peak. The neighborhoods discuss it as a silent regulation. Once you expand sufficiently to defy the kingdom, you cease existing as a benefit and commence appearing as a donation. Within that realm, Tupac and Biggie are not accidental victims of musical conflict. They are the blueprint. DMX is merely the following identity individuals are appending to that inventory. Another colossus whose decline handily provided more space for Diddy's reputation, enterprise, and inheritance to persist expanding unbothered and unreachable. However, there exists a different surrender that is more hazardous than basic removal, precisely like what occurred to DMX. You perceive, Diddy is not merely the administrator who extracted opposing rappers. He is additionally the individual who purportedly discovered how to shape and regulate youthful masculine celebrities the identical path via entry, oversight, and reputation management that perpetually appeared to profit him more than them.
Alright, Usher, Justin Bieber, Diddy. This is how they all connect. When Usher was super young, he got signed to a guy named L.A. Reid, this famous music executive. Usher then loses his voice. L.A. Reid wants to help him, get back on track, so he sends him over to this guy named Puff Daddy. And as you can imagine, Usher had a problem. He just didn't know it yet. See, Puff Daddy was this up-and-coming music executive who could really turn someone into a star. He put them through this thing called Flavor Camp. And during Usher's term in this Flavor Camp, he lived with Puff. And in Usher's words, he would see questionable things. He said at any given time, you can open the door and see a bunch of random people playing Netflix. He said he would be up all night partying when all he really wanted to do was go to the studio. And this is when people speculate that Diddy did something to Usher. Now, I need you to listen to me. I'm gonna give you the evidence as to why people believe this. But until you hear words from Usher, Diddy, Justin Bieber, nobody knows anything. All right, so Diddy and Usher are in an interview with Kevin Hart. Diddy said, "Hey, yo, pause. When Usher used to live with me, we used to wrestle for Frosted Flakes." Kevin Hart said, "What?" Diddy said, and he grabs Kevin Hart and pulls him off camera because Kevin Hart doesn't have a filter. After Diddy's Flavor Camp, Usher comes out with an album called Usher. It has really explicit details about watching Netflix. Everybody's like, nah, this is uncomfortable. And people actually did not like the album because his young voice talking about those details really threw people off. And of course, the album was executively produced by Puff Daddy. His mom was like, yo, what the So she grabs Usher. You got former bodyguards coming out saying, yeah, Diddy was very inappropriate with Usher. There's a rumor that Usher got sent to the hospital because of an encounter with Diddy. In fact, rumors have been circulating for like 20 years about this situation. Which brings us to Usher and Justin Bieber. See, Justin Bieber was coming up in the same way Usher was, like when he was super young. L.A. Reid again found Justin Bieber. Usher and Justin Timberlake both wanted to sign Bieber, but Bieber chooses Usher and Usher basically becomes a mentor. Now Usher then sends a young Bieber to Diddy for 48 hours. And in this interview, Diddy's saying stuff like, man, Justin is doing things that any 15-year-old would dream of doing. And the thing that's always kind of annoyed me about Diddy personally is he's always towing this imaginary line in interviews. Because of his ego, he has been snitching on himself in interviews. If you listen, he'll say something like, Justin be having a really good time with me. If no one acknowledges it, he'll be like, I can't say too much. You know what I'm saying? But like a really good time. I can't say too much though. You feel me? And he'll do this like throughout the whole interview. But here's the thing about Justin Bieber. He's been insanely harassed by the entertainment industry over the years. In fact, Justin Bieber comes out with a song about it where he's not just talking about one person. He's talking about the whole industry. In fact, Justin Bieber starts crying in an interview when Billie Eilish's name is brought up. He says that he wants to protect her and young people in the industry so they won't go through what he went through.
Retracing during the 1990s, Big L was extensively considered as among the most intimidating powers within subterranean hip-hop. Recognized for blade-acute improvisations and a natural poetic genius that placed him distant from his contemporaries. His existence was sliced brief within a calamitous drive-by discharge exterior 45, West 139th Street inside Harlem, an occurrence broadly suspected to be linked toward a chronic urban struggle involving his sibling. Within the instantaneous sequence, Big L's youthful companion, Gerard Woodley, was apprehended regarding the discharge, yet he was subsequently liberated, abandoning the matter unsettled and occupied with unreplied inquiries. Within the eras since Big L's expiration, whispers and conjecture have persisted to rotate regarding the conditions encircling it. Certain vocalizations within hip-hop heritage have asserted there existed profound corporate powers in operation, with hypotheses proposing that Big L's registering toward Rockefeller Records might not have remained as direct as it seemed. While no proof has ever validated these assertions, the whispers have endured, nourishing secretive hypotheses, and appending yet another stratum of enigma toward Big L's calamitous conclusion.
The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay-Z. He didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as the with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you.
Rest in peace, Big L.
Rest in peace, Big L.
One of the
That was
dopest.
the
One of
sensei.
the dopest. Yes.
Big L was who put Jay-Z on.
Without question.
And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay-Z. And then, you know, he starts clienteling with Tupac and clienteling with Biggie and doing songs with Biggie and building a working, you know, camaraderie with Honeycombs and AKA Diddy.
Kim Porter's fatigue regarding Diddy's aggression represented not merely concerning contusions. It signified regarding a female identifying she remained ensnared within a structure engineered to fracture her essence entirely. However, corporeal abuse functioned merely as the exterior stratum. The genuine snare represented not the strikes. It represented the commercial involvements that rendered departure unattainable. Whenever somebody regulates your profession, your revenue, and your corporate connections, departing transforms into a life-endangering conclusion.
He knows that, bruh. Kim couldn't have nobody, bruh. Kim couldn't have nobody. You understand what I'm saying, bruh? Diddy could do whatever, Puff could do whatever he wanted to do, Brother Love could do whoever he wanted to be. If Kim ever tried to get with somebody, Puff would interfere with them or with her trying to be with them. He wasn't letting that happen. Unless he was bringing them to the picture. That's what he used Kim for, bro. He wanted to make a deal with somebody. He'll get another girl and a guy that he's trying to make a deal with, and him and Kim, they all party together. Man, he used Kim for that shit, bro.
This disclosure uncovers Diddy's actual technique, utilizing Kim as a negotiating piece to guarantee grander agreements while concurrently certifying she could never depart. It represented not affection. It represented a commercial tactic masked as passion. This methodical snaring produced the flawless setting for different varieties of cruelty. Whenever somebody possesses your profession, they possess your quietness concerning what transpires behind shut entrances. However, Kim Porter ultimately attempted to escape frequently, and that represents when the genuine peril commenced.
Kim Porter says she dumped Diddy.
I feel like...
In a statement to the TV show The Insider, she says she decided to end what she calls her on-again, off-again relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. She says it was in the best interest of both them and their family.
Kim Porter represented not a casualty who remained. She represented a casualty who persisted endeavoring to depart. Every effort toward fleeing merely constricted the snare surrounding her until departure turned identical with liquidation. Kim Porter's expiration represented not the calamitous termination of a poisonous association. It represented the unavoidable finale of a methodical crusade towards silencing somebody who understood excessively much and declined to remain hushed. Whenever Kim Porter expired during 2018, the formal account appeared rapid and advantageous. Inflammation, biological factors, matter concluded. However, Gene Deal's internal awareness uncovers an upholstery so obvious it interprets like a guidebook toward removing troublesome observers. The initial crimson signal represented not what researchers discovered. It represented what they were perpetually never permitted toward seeking. Whenever proof vanishes before investigators reach, you are not observing ineptitude. You are observing synchronization.
You got to realize, man, Kim's death wasn't even investigated, bro. Her death wasn't even investigated. And it should have been a proper investigation so all the family members can feel like that there was no foul play in her death. How is it that you know how we are as a people? I don't believe that 10% of your viewers that's watching this don't keep their phone when they go to sleep in arm reach. How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim's bed? Her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing. Everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they not at home or her friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that, and this is her say, that the detectives did not even view the body in the bed where she died at? That the coroner them had already removed her, pronounced her dead, and told the detectives them that it was no foul play. And if that is true, as I've heard it, and we read certain things on the internet about it, that case need to be reopened. We know that Kim, and it's in the this is in the documentation. Shout out to paperwork, at the paperwork part. I gotta shout him out, man, because he looked in the paperwork and it said Kim received a massage for about an hour when she's supposed to have full-blown pneumonia. Who gives somebody a massage when they got pneumonia? And do we know whether she used that baby oil or not for that massage? It makes you say,
Katt Williams never stated he possessed proof concerning offerings. What he actually expressed is that influential males depart footprints. And whenever you glance backward, the path encircling Diddy is extensive, performers deceased, partners hushed, detractors marginalized, and currently at last boundaries narrowing inward. Diddy has rejected participation within every fatality linked toward his identity. His crew labels the films targeted attacks. They claim observers possess resentments and monetary incentives. And judicially, he has perpetually never remained accused regarding Tupac or Biggie. Those realities signify, yet so does communal viewpoint. And viewpoint is transforming rapidly.
You know Pac just got killed. It ain't no kind of business Big was doing. Big couldn't even walk. He couldn't run. They was pushing him around in a wheelchair, brother. Why the hell would you rent studio time in LA for him to finish your album when in fact you got your own studio, Daddy's house?
Currently, Diddy exists within incarceration, condemned regarding mature sector-associated accusations, deprived of his liberty and much of his authority. And abruptly the matter's individuals were intimidated toward uttering aloud appear more secure toward murmuring. Supporters are re-observing discussions. Rappers are selecting their expressions cautiously. Humorists like Katt Williams are being reassessed, not as jesters, but as reality deliverers who spoke excessively prematurely. The most terrifying portion of all this represents not whether every assertion is factual. It represents how numerous individuals express the identical matters without recognizing one another. How numerous accounts align. How numerous alerts remained disregarded because the individual at the midpoint was too wealthy, too influential, too shielded. Thus, whenever individuals state Katt Williams disclosed an inventory, what they genuinely signify is that he gestured toward a sequence. Tupac, Biggie, Big L, Kim Porter. Identities that symbolize brilliance, information, and authority that did not survive sufficiently long toward narrating their complete accounts. Whether you trust it represented offering, carelessness, or heartless aspiration, the result is identical. They are departed, and the individual they circled ascended loftier every occasion. Currently, the inquiry represents not whether Katt was insane. The inquiry represents why so many individuals chuckled instead of hiding. And as the business persists toward trembling, one uneasy reflection remains. If this much emerged following the collapse, how much represents still entombed? Because past events possess a method of reappearing, and whenever it occurs, it does not request authorization. If you enjoy this recording, strike that enrollment control so that you perpetually never fail regarding any fresh recordings. And until then, kin, maintain it authentic.